This wonderfully romantic song was a turning point in my career and life. I became the darling of the theatrical world and beyond. Body and Soul. From the play Three's a Crowd with Clifton Webb and Fred Allen, made me famous and, ha! Infamous. When I sing, I feel a throbbing in every cell of my body. I feel alive, connected to myself, to my soul, and now to all of you. In my life, I gave myself as such as I could to men, women, my body to many, my soul to some, my body and soul to a few. Anyway, it was 1930, not exactly the Dark Ages, but dark enough. Prohibition was on the books. More than 30,000 speakeasies in New York City. Hooch was everywhere, including soda fountains and grocery stores. Stuff was being smuggled in from Bahamas and Cuba. You know, there are always ways to get around the stupidities of this conventional world. Talk about stupidities. Body and Soul was kept off the radio for 1 year. Too sexy for those flatulent fools. Afraid to offend the choked-off, straight-jacketed, clean-living, ha! Phony, moralistic citizens. The yellow rag newspapers could be filled with rapes, murders, filthy gossip columns, pictures of ugly politicians spewing hate, lynching of Negroes, but love, sensuality expressed through song on the airwaves was taboo. Hypocrites. You know I'm yours for just the taking. How's that for filthy lyrics? I'd gladly surrender myself to you, body and soul. Isn't that what love is supposed to be? Surrendering yourself to a person. I believe in surrender wholeheartedly. The other person surrendering to me. Ha! Well, despite the big shot executives, the mundane ass-kissing idiots, Body and Soul became a big hit. #3 on the record charts. So what happened? Body and Soul was produced on the radio stations. The CEOs could make a buck, and I became rich. It seemed then it could be everything I ever dreamed of. My life a hell you're making. My heart is yours for just the taking. Why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. Drinking, dancing, sex, all-night parties, what a life. What I wanted, I got. I was born in 1904 in Cincinnati, Ohio, into a well-to-do family, until my uncle, Ross, embezzled 1 million smackers from my father's brokerage firm, that son of a bitch. He disappeared. No word from him ever. Long before that catastrophe, my father's younger brother, Charles, at age 16, ran away from home. He was never seen again either. Great family. My father wanted to pay back every cent to his clients. And Wallace, my father's brother and partner, did the same. After sacrificing for years, Wallace felt like a failure and shot himself. Our family descended into poverty. Bitterness colored my mother's life. Being poor for her was an abomination. She felt cheated and deprived. But did she have to fill our brains, mine, my oldest sister, and kid brother with her complaints of what might have been? Mealtimes were horrible. A constant barrage of anger and bitterness. A template for my life. As a very young girl, I was taken over by fears of death and abandonment. Morbid dreads that lingered, actually jamming my life. I swore I would never be poor. I would become rich, no matter what. Once I make up my mind, that's it. Thoughts of failure are cast out like the devil. I will, and I mean it. I will be rich and have it all. I just had a sort of feeling this morning something's good was gonna happen today. Now there comes a sound without any warning. I just know it's good luck coming my way. Goodness gracious, can it be? Someone's coming back to me. Who's that knocking at my door? I've been waiting oh so long. Who's that knocking at my door? I know it can't grocer, the butcher, the baker, they don't knock that way. But in my baby's arms outside, my arms hard and open wide, who's that knocking at my door? Oh my, oh me, oh me, hallelujah, come to me. Who's that knocking at my door? Knocking at my door. See, the time is 8 o'clock. Sounds like a familiar knock. Who's that knocking at my door? I know it can't be the gas man, the milkman, the bread man, or be FedEx. I hope that isn't the butter and egg man who writes out those checks. What will you do to me? Lucky me for you to see. Who's that knocking in at my door? I wonder who. It feels like a freight train's pulling me. There's a dark tunnel ahead. I see this train going down a one-way street. In high school, the guys flipped over me. I was considered hot stuff. The kids flocked around me, and I got their attention, their flattery. I gave back very little. Was I a tease? I was. I enjoyed being a tease. To get these guys all excited, you know what I mean? In my yearbook, I was nominated the nerviest girl. Melting into the crowd, being ordinary would not only be boring, but frankly it would have made me sick to my stomach. At the University of Cincinnati, I stayed true to character. I smoked cigarettes, wore mascara and bright red lipstick, a fedora, man's hat. I loved to swagger, to show off. It was an act that I cultivated. I love to upset repressed assholes. Ha! Well, in this gloomy world, why not have fun? Lots of it. So-called adults looked down at me, criticized me, and tried to control me. They don't know me. I didn't give a damn. Who the hell were they anyway? Guardians of morality, what they secretly wished to be? I lived. So, on to New York City to make my way and fortune. I got a place at the studio club, packed with girls, would-be singers, dancers, and actresses. The rules there were strict. No smoking, check-in before 10:30 every evening, breakfast served before 9. I enjoyed the camaraderie, made some new friends. We shared our aspirations and frustrations and supported each other with encouragement and information about opportunities. There was no jealousy, but those damn rules rubbed me the wrong way. I broke a few. Ha! I'm a free person. I freaked out a few of the girls. I like to walk around in the room naked. They got used to it. Finally, I got a break, a part as a streetwalker in The Fool. I was very convincing. Got $25 a week, a start, and I had an affair with a guy, an up-and-coming journalist. It wasn't bad. Another break came in Richard Rodgers and Lorenz Hart's musical, The Garrick Gabies. was 1925. I was only 21. I could sing and I had a great body. I let men know that by showing off my legs, looking deep into their eyes and making them think they were special. Got me the job. The Gaieties continued for 211 performances. And did we celebrate? Harold Klorman said I sang with spunk and gusto. A funny thing happened. Sterling Holloway, the show's main attraction and matinee performance of the Gaieties, got hit with an attack of appendicitis. He wore only a jockstrap under his clothes. To avoid his being embarrassed in the hospital, I reached under my skirt, took off my bloomers, and slipped them on him. He liked my alacrity. I liked his shape. Ha! Life was fantastic. I wanted more. Off to Harlem, mixing it up with the Nigarati, drinking and drinking it all in. Can you imagine Josephine Baker wearing a skirt of green bananas? If they were ripe, I might have dared to pluck one off and eat it. Ha! We went to all-night parties where Richard Rogers played the piano and Lawrence Hart sang in the style of Al Jolson. I met Robert Benchley, Dorothy Parker at the Gershwin home, then off to the British party at B. Lily's and Gertrude Lawrence's shared apartment where Noel Coward played his music. Excitement was never ending. So different from Hick, Cincinnati.
Taken like a leaf on a tree that saw me blue from the town. Taken like a leaf on a tree.
I was becoming a singer. Not everything I wanted to be. Acting on stage will come later. I hoped and believed, and romance. My life will have an abundance of it. But singers don't have romance. They inspire them.
That's worth the soul of mine.
Ha! And who flipped most over me? Young Princeton undergraduates with more than a streak of gayness to them. Frankly, I found them a lot more appealing than most straight guys. Too, they had manners, knew how to dress with flair, and they were sensitive and empathetic. And empathic. I could connect to them, and I was adored. The ritzy Club El Fay entertained the big shots. The Astors, Whitneys, Vanderbilts, and Reynolds. I shouldn't overlook Arnold Rothstein, the gangster. Imagine a Jew becoming a gangster. He led a bit of excitement to the joint. I didn't know whether or not he might bump off someone and get bumped off himself. Ruby Keeler, only 15, hung out there with George Raft, a gangster type who probably shows acting over knocking off folks. The place was filled with hangers-on, ass-kissing sycophants who wanted to rub shoulders with the hoi polloi. Sometimes they rubbed a little lower. Ha! Anyway, back to guys. This is from the show Gamboa by Ned Wayburn. Went on for 31 performances. I wowed them. They said my voice sounded like a Negro's. I was flattered. I loved especially the lyrics. Although I may be blue, and still I'm true, I must tell him goodbye rather than have that man lay me down and just die. Fits me. When my feelings change, I'm out of there. He can cry, scream, curse at me, a waste of time. I have no compassion. Over is over. I don't believe in forcing myself to do anything, certainly not to accommodate someone who's a crybaby. I stole the bastard's money. That no-good son of a bitch. That scum. A rotten, lousy pimp. He tried to choke me to death. He locked me in a dingy room. I could die. I banged the door, trying to escape. Hope I didn't alarm you. What a liar I can be. I intended to shock you. I took that from a scenario from The Late Show, The Little Show. I got into the role of a whore. Took me over completely. My friend Clifton Webb was the pimp. That gentle, loving gay guy. The audience went wild. I had a dozen curtain calls. Howard Dietz rescued me. He came on stage and implored the audience to let me go. I was exhausted, but I could have gone on for 10 more curtain calls. I couldn't get enough. The show went on for 321 performances. Brooke Atkinson of the New York Times called me the Dark Purple Menace. They said I was a singer of sullen sex hymns. Walter Winchell compared me to the best of those female troubadours with voices of smoked tears who moan to the rhythm and booms of the roaring 20s. I was a star. I was on the radio. I recorded songs which sold like hotcakes. I sang at the Apollo Theater in Harlem. A reporter for a crappy newspaper called my singing coon songs. Asshole. And those know-nothings, intrusive pests plagued me with stupid, idiotic questions like, who were the lucky guys I was dating? Interpretation. Whom am I screwing? Actually, it was Alan Jackson, a writer for Time magazine. In fact, he did more drinking than writing. It's his life, not mine. He can damn well do whatever gives him pleasure. He was sexy, carefree, and fun. The truth, he was my first real love affair. Lasted a year. Not bad for me. As suddenly as it started, it ended. Of course, I ended it. I was doing okay in this world. Well, more than okay. Fans stopped me on the street, at cafes, in front of my apartment. No peace. Who wants peace? Not Libby Holman. Webb and I became friends. Real friends. We hung out 3 or 4 more times a week, hitting all the bright spots. I loved his humor, his sophistication, and his quirkiness. I don't want to appear too self-centered, but his qualities were like mine. He and we laughed and played jokes. Tony's on West 52nd Street was a favorite hangout for us. I don't want to brag too much, but we hobnobbed with Robert Benchley, Howard Dietz, Peter Arno, John O'Hara, and James Thurber. What conversations about everything. Theater, music, literature, America, communism, Stalin and Trotsky, the Depression. Heavy subjects, but humor poured into nearly every conversation along with the booze. Eddie Cantor told a joke. A guy comes into a hotel and wants a room. The clerk answers, for sleeping or jumping? Listen, you have to laugh in the face of tragedy, if you can. One evening, Ronald Colman appeared, that uptight, repressed, but urbane actor. Webb bet me $5 that I couldn't get Colman to ask me out on a date. A challenge which I accepted. Why not? So I pretended to make a phone call. Oh, yes, darling. I can't wait to see you, to feel your body, to kiss your full lips, to make love to you all night long. Midnight? Wonderful. Good night, sweet prince. So Coleman, who heard everything, gets up and in his studied way walks stiffly over to me. He recognizes me. Miss Holman, he says so politely. I wonder if you might be free to join me some evening for dinner. I answered, darling, don't torment yourself with luxuries you can't afford. Why was I so insulting? It was supposed to be a joke. But you know what? He laughed. He knew he fell for a joke. Miss Holman, he retorted, you are very funny. He bowed slightly, went back to his table and continued eating and drinking. I did have a big mouth. What I often felt, I expressed. Dorothy Parker, not exactly a sweet-talking person, told me, you really ought to wear your drawers around your face. I retorted, I don't wear drawers, bloomers, panties, whatever you prefer to call them. Actually, I hate to wear underwear. I feel closed in. So back to the little show. Toward the end of the run, I was introduced to Louisa Carpenter DuPont. She was a beauty. Tall, graceful, charming. I was immediately attracted to her. It was love at first sight. Trite but true. It was like a bolt of lightning had hit me. I had never felt anything like that for anyone. Louisa wasted no time with idiocies and fake formalities. She invited me to visit her on her yacht. I did not hesitate a fraction of a second. I'd be delighted. We met, we touched, we kissed, we said nothing. Went to the bedroom, undressed. I surrendered body and soul. And then there was Smith Reynolds. A spoiled, fabulously rich kid. A rich kid of the R.J. Reynolds clan. When the little show moved to Baltimore, he attended the Saturday evening performance, sitting in the front row. I got introduced to him. He followed me for weeks. He praised me to high hell for my singing. He sent me roses and orchids and schmaltzy notes. He was a kid, 18 years old. He told me he was about to make a round world flight with his own airplane, but he postponed it. Well, he followed me and Louisa wherever we went. And when we vacationed in Florida for an Easter week, he followed us. When we sailed for Europe, he followed us. Well, then there was the premiere of Three's a Crowd. In the front row, there he was every night with his adolescent, adoring smile. And the nerve of him. At Tony's, the kid tells me he's fallen in love with me. Get out of my sight, I told him. Well, I imagined that he had a kind of secret treasure buried deep inside him. Was I fooling myself? Did I want to nourish him? Or I hate to say it, maybe I wanted some of his treasure, not the repressed stuff. I continued to see him, especially when Louisa was away. When I did not want to see him, he threatened to kill himself. We argued a lot. He wanted to control me and be only with him. His sense of adventure flying all over the world. Something appealing about him, his sense of adventure, looking quite handsome in his aviator's outfits. He took me up to his plane to view the Reynolds estate. 1,000 acres, a magnificent mansion. He threw a party for me. His rich friends loved me, begged me to sing. I loved Louisa, but there was no future in our relationship. So Smith and I got married recently, got married secretly. Looking back, it was one of the worst decisions I ever made in my life, but not the last. Did I sell my soul? Despite marrying him, Smith became more and more clingy and threatened to shoot himself unless I gave up theater. For 1 year, I said, I'll try to concentrate my energies on him. I, who always got what I wanted, sacrificed myself on the altar of marriage. I missed New York with the excitement and glamour and stimulating friendships, especially with Clifton and Louisa. I was beginning to feel resentment towards Smith. He felt it. He whimpered, made more threats to kill himself, pleaded with me to love him. I tried to reassure him, but deep down I was getting bored with his antics and with his superficial friends, with the exception of Abe Walker, his best friend. Abe was engaging. He had a brain. What did we talk about? The world, the economic disaster caused by greedy capitalistic schmucks. Yes, my Jewishness sneaks in from time to time. One fateful evening when Abe and I said goodnight to each other, I could feel his hands rubbing my back as he kissed me rather willingly and warmly. So what? Does marriage have to change the stairway to the bedroom? Does marriage have to change everything? Smith took notice and stomped out of the room and bolted up to the bedroom. I followed. We argued. You've got everything, he said. You've got success, everyone male and female all over you, and what have I done with my life? I tried to reassure him. You're still young. You can make something of your life. He whimpered and threatened to kill himself. Fed up, I said, then just go ahead and do it. I'm getting tired of your blackmailing me with your empty threats. And in case you're stupid enough to shoot yourself, I need to tell you that I'm pregnant. He was stunned. He stared at me with hatred, not love. Not with the slightest indication of happiness for our unborn child, for the family that he would have. Is it my baby or Abe's? He said. Yours, you damned imbecile. You're lying. I don't lie. I hate you. He spun around, reached into the top drawer of the bureau and pulled out his Mauser, pointing it to his head. You fool! You insane fool! I grabbed his hand and yanked it away from his head. He pulled back, used all my strength to wrest the gun from his hands. He pulled the trigger. Blood poured from his head and streamed down his shirt. He fell. My baby. My poor baby. I'm sorry, I can't go on.